Northern New Mexico has a way of making you feel small. The sky stretches too wide. The mountains stand too still. And at night, the dark settles in like something physical. I moved to Taos County in the fall of 2004 to help manage maintenance for a small communications relay station about 40 miles east of town, near the foothills of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. It wasn't military. Not officially. Just a joint communications hub that carried emergency frequencies, aviation bands, and rural dispatch signals. The job was simple. Drive up the access road twice a week. Check the generators. Log voltage levels. Inspect antenna alignment. The nearest paved highway was Route 518. After that, it was gravel and dust. The kind of road that swallowed headlights. Most nights were uneventful. Coyotes in the distance. Occasional static bursts from old analog radios. The hum of equipment that never truly went silent. But sometime in early October, something shifted. It began with silence. Not the normal kind. Not windless quiet. This was absence. One Tuesday evening, just after sundown, I stepped out of the utility shed to smoke. The sky was unusually clear. The Milky Way cut across the dark like a scar. And I noticed something. No crickets. No wind. No distant dogs from the ranch below. The world felt padded, as if someone had placed thick insulation between me and everything else. I remember looking down at my cigarette, watching the smoke rise straight up. No breeze at all. Then the generators hiccuped. Just once. A low drop in pitch. Then steady again. I wrote it off as fuel mixture irregularity. I wish that's all it had been. The relay station had secondary monitoring equipment inside, a small radar-linked aviation tracking system tied into regional flight paths. It wasn't advanced, but it flagged transponders. On October 11th, at 21:43, the screen flickered. One blip appeared. No transponder code. No altitude. Just a pulse. Then it vanished. I checked the logs. Nothing recorded. I recalibrated the system. The next night, it happened again. Same location in the sky, northeast quadrant. Except this time, the blip didn't move like aircraft do. It shifted in tight, angular jumps. Not smooth arcs. Angles. Sharp corrections. Instant repositioning. I called Albuquerque Regional Aviation Control. They had nothing on their scopes. Probably ground interference, the dispatcher said. But interference doesn't reposition itself. Around the same time, a rancher from down the valley reported livestock agitation. Cattle bunching against fences at night. 2 calves found dead. No signs of predation. No blood pooling. Just collapse. He blamed coyotes. But coyotes don't leave surgical stillness behind. 3 days later, my truck clock reset itself while parked. 12:14 a.m. Blinking. Engine off. Battery fine. I told myself it was just an electrical fault. That's what people do. We assign reasonable explanations because the alternative requires too much rearranging of reality. Then the radio signals began. Low-frequency bursts. Not static. Structured. Pulses repeating in threes. Always at 2:17 a.m. Every night for 6 nights. I recorded one. When I played it back the next day, the waveform showed clear modulation, but there was no audible sound. Just blank track. The file existed. The noise didn't. That's when I started writing everything down. Because something was wrong. And it wasn't equipment failure. By late October, I wasn't the only one noticing. A state trooper reported a stationary light over the ridgeline at 23:10 hours. He described it as white, but not glowing. More like a shape blocking stars. That phrasing stuck with me. Blocking stars. 2 hikers claimed they lost 3 hours while camping near Wheeler Peak. Their watches stopped. Phone batteries drained to 0 simultaneously. When they returned to town, both complained of severe nosebleeds. Local clinic diagnosed dehydration. But October nights in the Sangre de Cristo range are cold. Very cold. Then the power outage happened. October 28th. Clear weather. No storm activity. At exactly 2:17 a.m., The relay station lost external power. Generators kicked in and immediately failed. All three. Fuel levels normal. Oil pressure normal. They simply shut down. The hum disappeared. Total darkness swallowed the building. And with it, the silence returned. Heavier this time. My ears popped as if altitude had changed. I stepped outside. The sky looked wrong. Not cloudy, not obscured, but distorted, like heat shimmer in freezing air. Above the northeastern ridge, something darker than the night hovered. It wasn't glowing. It wasn't flashing. It was a void, a geometric absence. My chest tightened. Every hair on my arms rose. And then, a low pressure rolled through the valley. Not sound. Pressure. Like descending in an airplane too quickly. My vision blurred at the edges. I remember thinking, this is too close. The object, or whatever it was, shifted, not by moving through space, but by being somewhere else. Instantly, 20 degrees west. No acceleration, no trajectory, just relocation. That's when I realized something worse. It wasn't drifting. It was adjusting, as if aware of observation. The pressure intensified. My knees buckled, and the world went black. I woke up inside the equipment room. On the floor, generators humming normally. Lights on. Clock reading 4:52 a.m. Nearly 3 hours missing. My first thought was concussion. I checked for injuries. None. My second thought was that I wasn't alone. The air smelled metallic. Not ozone. Not fuel. Something sterile. Like overheated circuitry. The radios were active. All channels open simultaneously. Not broadcasting. Listening. Every frequency hissed faintly in sync. Then they cut out. At once. Dead silence. A shadow passed across the frosted window. Slow. Deliberate. I froze. The building had no exterior lighting at that hour. Nothing should cast a shadow. The temperature dropped sharply. My breath fogged. I forced myself to move toward the door. Each step felt heavier than the last. When I opened it, the world outside looked flattened. Colors drained. Depth distorted. About 50 yards from the station, suspended above the gravel access road, was the shape. No lights. No visible surface. Just a massive triangular absence. Its edges were not sharp. They vibrated subtly, like a mirage that refused to settle. It made no sound. None. But my body reacted violently. Teeth aching. Inner ears pulsing. A taste of iron spreading across my tongue. I couldn't tell if it was high above me or only a few feet overhead. Perspective didn't apply. It felt both distant and immediate, as if space between us had collapsed. The air thickened. Every instinct screamed to run. But I couldn't. Not because something held me. Because movement no longer made sense. The triangle tilted slightly. Or perhaps reality shifted around it. I had the overwhelming sensation of being examined. Not visually, but structurally. Like something was scanning the idea of me. Then, everything stopped. Total blackness. No transition. No fade. Just absence. I woke up in my truck, parked at the base of the access road. Engine off. Sun rising. The relay station above me, completely intact. My logbook was on the passenger seat. The last entry, 10:32 p.m. Nothing after. My watch read 8:11 a.m. I drove back up. No physical damage. No signs of disturbance. But the surveillance hard drive was wiped. Not corrupted. Erased. 2 days later, 2 black SUVs arrived in town. No insignia. No license plates I recognized. They visited the relay site first. Then they visited me. They did not identify an agency. They asked about generator failure, about radar calibration. They did not ask about the sky, which told me they already knew. When I mentioned the triangular object, one of them smiled faintly. Atmospheric distortion, he said. Then they confiscated my audio recorder, my maintenance logs, and replaced the radar unit. The rancher who lost livestock stopped talking about it. The state trooper transferred counties. One of the hikers moved out of state within a month. The other reportedly suffered recurring night terrors. As for me, The nosebleeds began 3 weeks later. Random. Heavy. Medical tests showed nothing abnormal, except elevated cortisol levels. Stress, the doctor said. But stress doesn't explain the recurring dream. Every night at 2:17 a.m., I wake up before the alarm. Pressure in my ears. The sensation of being measured. Not watched. Measured. I left the job in early 2005. Officially, budget restructuring. Unofficially, I couldn't stay. Years later, I filed a Freedom of Information Act request regarding unusual aerial activity in Taos County during October 2004. The response came back heavily redacted, but one line remained visible. Unidentified aerial phenomena observed. Duration, 2 hours, 43 minutes. 2 hours, 43 minutes. The exact amount of time I lost. I tried to convince myself that correlation means nothing. But sometimes, late at night, I drive outside the city where the sky is darker. I stand alone, and I watch. Not for lights, not for movement, but for absence. Because once you've seen something that removes stars instead of shining among them, you understand something fundamental. It isn't that we're being visited. It's that we're being accessed. Quietly, without announcement, without landing. As if the sky itself contains openings we were never meant to notice. And every October, when the air grows still, when the insects fall silent, when the pressure shifts, I remember the triangle. I remember the silence. And I can't shake the feeling that the encounter never ended. That whatever examined me that night is still calibrating, still adjusting, waiting for the next moment, when the world goes quiet enough for it to return.